All right, let's get started. We're going deep today, really deep. We're talking about value. You know, like what makes things actually matter.
Yeah, exactly.
And to help us out, we've got Frederick Osei-Manu.
Oh, he's great.
He's written a lot about this, and his approach is, well, it's different. He's not just giving us a list of good values.
Right.
Like, be honest, work hard.
It's much deeper than that.
He connects them all together.
Yeah.
It's like a giant web of values.
It is. And he starts with what he calls foundational values.
Okay.
God, life, and family. He says these aren't just personal beliefs, they really shape society.
So he's saying that societies that view family or life differently, even the idea of God, those differences, they have real world consequences.
Absolutely. Think about things like legal systems.
Okay, yeah.
Or social safety nets even.
Yeah.
Economic policies.
Yeah.
These foundational values are baked into all of that.
Wow. So he's saying my personal values aren't just like floating in my head. They're connected to all these big systems.
They are. It's how we see the world. Like, do your beliefs about family shape your political views?
Okay, now my mind is blown. So Osei-Manu doesn't just stop there.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
He also talks about friends and community, relationships.
Right, that whole network of connections. And he says those are vital to fight loneliness, you know, for well-being.
So it's like he's saying we need a village, not just to raise a child, but like all through life.
Exactly. And remember that quote by Dr. James Emmanuel Quagier-Agray about educating women?
Yeah. Educate a man, you educate an individual. Educate a woman, you educate a nation.
It's the perfect example, that connection within a community.
And it leads right into what Osei-Manu talks about next. It's about personal growth. You know, the stuff we usually connect to success: character, time, money, education.
Right. And he says some tough things here, like time, you can never get it back, so how you spend it, that shows your values.
He's not just saying be rich. It's how you get there and what you do with it.
Yeah.
It all goes back to that question. What do you value?
This is where Osei-Manu gets, well, kind of surprising. He starts talking about names.
Names?
Yeah. And places, too, as values. What?
I know. It threw me at first, too.
Like, those don't seem like core values. How does he even, like, connect those?
He says our names, they carry weight. They're about our family, our identity, even how far we can go in life. A name can be, well, a source of pride, or it can hold you back. It even changes how people see us.
It's true. Think about those big historical figures.
Exactly.
Like Martin Luther King Jr.,
Yeah.
Marie Curie. Their names, they represent something.
Values, ideals,
Yeah.
a whole legacy.
So our names aren't just labels. They really mean something.
Okay, but places, I get names, but how's a place of value?
Well, think about it. Different cities, countries even, they all have their own ways of doing things, their own history. Osei-Manu says those places, they shape our values. They give us opportunities, or they limit them. You grow up in a big city, you'll probably have different values than, say, someone from a small farm town.
So where you are, it kind of determines, well, who you become.
Right.
Okay, so we've got all these different types of values now.
We do.
God, family, friends, character, time, money.
Names.
Places, it's a lot. How does Osei-Manu tie it all together?
He doesn't give a simple answer, which is good because life isn't simple. But he really emphasizes how they're all connected. You know, they all affect each other, they reinforce each other, and sometimes they even clash.
It's not just a lust of good values then. It's about understanding how they all work together.
Exactly, and being mindful of that. He says we need to treat, well, everything as precious.
Our relationships,
time,
how we use our resources. It's a lot to think about. We've been exploring Osei-Manu's ideas.
Yeah.
You know, how these values shape us, how they shape societies.
But what about us, like as individuals? How do we actually like use this? That's the big question. We've got a framework now and see how it all fits together.
Right.
But the real work is looking at our own values. You know, what do we prioritize? And do we live by those values? It's a journey.
It really is. So let's give our listeners a question to think about.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one value, just one, to put above all others, what would it be? Why? There's no like right answer here.
Yeah.
This is about you. What really matters to you. It's tough, right? I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it makes you realize like, wow, my values, they're behind so many things I do every day.
It's like Osei-Manu has given us a I don't know, a new way of looking at things.
Yeah, like a lens.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about all those times I've like agonized over a decision. Maybe it's because my values, they were kind of like fighting each other, and I didn't even realize it.
That's really insightful, actually. And it goes back to what Osei-Manu said about treating everything as precious.
Yeah.
It's not about, always having everything in perfect harmony. Sometimes our values, well, they clash.
So we shouldn't get like frustrated when that happens. Like, I'm failing if my values conflict.
No, not at all. Those are the moments, you can really learn about yourself. What's important to you?
So it's a chance to kind of figure out, well, what do I really stand for?
Right. It helps you make those tough choices.
What if we like took that even further? Osei-Manu says to treat things as precious. But what if we didn't just recognize the value that's already there? What if we actively looked for it, even in the unexpected places?
That's a great point. Like every interaction, every experience. What if we saw it as a chance to find something valuable?
It'd be like a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
But the treasure isn't gold or jewels. It's a better understanding of our values, the values that shape the world.
And ourselves. Imagine what we could discover,
Yeah.
if we really approach life that way.
A deeper appreciation for the everyday stuff, stronger connections with people, maybe even a whole new understanding of what our purpose is.
Exactly.
Well, that's something to think about, huh?
Definitely. A lot to unpack there.
Big thanks to Frederick Osei-Manu. He's given us a lot to think about. And to you, dear listener, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.